Mutual funds are one of the most popular and common ways of investing. I often get the question, Josh, what is a mutual fund, or how do I recognize a mutual fund? Well, you may actually be invested in a mutual fund whether you realize it or not. That's one of the most popular, if not the only investment in many 401ks. And if you have a 401k through your employer, you may be in a mutual fund. Well, in this video, we're going to take a look at what exactly is a mutual fund and give you some clarity so that you can recognize a mutual fund, know how it works, and just feel comfortable around investing in a mutual fund. So let's take a look. Hi, I'm Josh Bennett with Mr. Money Sense TV, the channel where we help you earn more, keep more, and grow more money. If you're new here, please consider subscribing so that way you get notified every time we create a video. And we like to throw out a lot of videos that provide a lot of value and help you really grow your wealth. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. So in this video, we're going to talk about mutual funds and what is a mutual fund. To really understand what a mutual fund is, we kind of have to understand some of the building blocks that go into a mutual fund first. So let's use an example. So let's say I want to buy a stock. I want to buy a company. So say I'm a big fan of Apple. Like I love Apple iPhones, and I think it's going to be a winner. So I want to invest in Apple. So what I can do is I can go to the stock market and I can buy one share of Apple stock. So when I buy that one share, I am now an owner of Apple. Yet I may only be 0.00001% owner, but I am an owner. So I share the gains, share the losses. If I go, say I don't want to be that risky. I don't want to share the gains and losses. Well, then what I can do is I can go essentially loan Apple money. So I can buy what's called a bond. So a bond is just a loan, kind of like a car loan or something like that. So if I, for example, buy a bond for $1,000, I give that $1,000 to Apple. They pay me back that money with interest. So it's a little bit safer of a route. Well, the limitations of those are say I want to have some protection. I'm a little worried if Apple goes out of business, what happens to my money? Well, what you can do is you can spread out your chips. So you can buy multiple companies. And that can be very hard to manage as an individual if you're trying to buy 10, 20, 30, 40, or say 500 different companies. That can be very hard to manage and keep track of. So that's where a mutual fund comes in. So a mutual fund is kind of like a bucket. So instead of buying just one company, you're buying a bucket filled with hundreds of different companies or hundreds of different bonds. And so within that mutual fund, you have all these different companies. So you share the gains and losses of 500 companies if you're in a stock mutual fund, or you share the losses of 500 companies. But the idea is that some of the companies within that bucket are going to go up, some are going to go down. And hopefully though, because you're kind of betting on the economy as opposed to a specific company, so hopefully the amount of companies that are going up within that mutual fund outperform the ones that are going down. And so that's kind of how you hedge your bets with a mutual fund, because it allows you to invest in multiple companies at the same time. However, to have this convenience of investing in multiple companies at the same time without you having to manage it, well, that means you have to pay somebody else to do that. And so that's what you're doing, is you're essentially paying a mutual fund manager to take care of those funds for you and to choose what stocks should be in that mutual fund. So every mutual fund has a cost, which is just called like the operating expense ratio. So this is the cost that's going to go into your mutual fund. And on top of that, many mutual funds can have things like transaction costs, so a cost to buy or sell the fund itself. So you want to be aware of what costs are going into the mutual fund when you purchase it. Just like anything in life, when there's convenience, you kind of have to pay for it. So you just want to make sure that you're aware of how much you're paying for it, because there are mutual funds out there that are extremely excessive in price. So just keep an eye on what those costs are and make sure you're at least knowledgeable what an average cost for a mutual fund is, as well as the cost of the fund that you're getting. And the costs and the averages are going to vary based on what type of fund it is. So for example, a US large cap, or in layman's terms, big company mutual fund, so a mutual fund that buys big companies like Apple, may be cheaper than a company that buys obscure companies in Indonesia, for example. just because there's a lot of more cost into research, etc. So you want to kind of compare apples to apples. So for example, if you're looking at 5 different mutual funds for emerging markets or kind of foreign countries, compare the costs of those different mutual funds. So how do you buy a mutual fund? So to buy a mutual fund, you first need what's called an investment account. So an investment account could be just a regular taxable investment account, which you can get at places such as Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, all these different places that allow you to invest, you can generally get mutual funds at those locations. You can also get a mutual fund through an individual retirement account, which is just a different type of investment account that has some tax protections geared for retirement. So another big common one is 401ks that you may be provided through your work. So 401ks are a retirement account that you can invest in for retirement that's attached to your employer. So most 401ks offer you mutual funds to invest in. Do you have any more questions around mutual funds? Make sure you leave a comment below. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. I know mutual funds can be a little weird and kind of complex for those that are just getting started in investing. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Happy to answer. And again, if you're new here, consider subscribing so that way you get more insightful videos on things that you can do to really grow your wealth and really take your finances to the next level. If you found this valuable, click that like button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Cheers.